start the, hold on, let me get the capture. Hold on a second. Okay. Alright. No. There we go.
Okay.
Let's start some other 3. Yep, okay. Well, let me fix the audio. It's kind of low for me. Okay. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to stream as long tonight, just because I actually have stuff to do tomorrow. And also kind of early in the morning too. Not like real early, but I think I should be able to get to chapter 2 and get through at least part of chapter 2 today though. Some fresh milk. Alright. But yeah, I think after this, alright, so I know a lot of this right now is going to be just like expositional stuff. Like, I think the rest of this chapter is expositional stuff. Talk to the Magypsies. From a cold place. Is that Alec? It is good to see you, Schnookums. Oh my gosh, like, these characters are like some of the weirdest in the entire series. Where are my manners? This is my good friend Alec. Who's this with you? Flit, you say? Well, that's very nice to meet you. Well, let's all get you properly introduced to us, the Magypsies. Your luck, we're having a party today. Nearly all of us are here. We have Aeolia. Then there's Doria. Fyria. I don't even know how to pronounce that name correctly. Lydia. The other one over there is Mixolydia. The only one I hear is Locria. You can call me Lonia. Can't remember all that? Of course not. That's why I just introduced you, darling. Isn't that how it works? Right. Oh my freaking glove. I forgot these characters. Oh my gosh. Also note these characters here, the Magypsies, are actually all named after like musical scales. Suppose this Flint fellow is his father. Yeah, I can see the resemblance now. With the same eyes. So what about Claus? Where is he? Oh, he took off. He was in a great hurry, mentioning something about avenging his mother. I was feeling generous at the time, so I sent him on his way with a super powerful PSI technique. Doubt he'll be able to use it very easily, though. So he left it. And you didn't stop him? What if something happens to him? Oh, get over yourselves. We couldn't care less about you humans, here 1 minute and gone the next. Poor things barely live 100 years, if that. It's a blink of an eye to us Magypsies. How would anyone bother to care about such short lives? No. Mixolydia, whatever that name is, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. Who was worrying about such short lives? Isn't that right, Alec? I understand how you feel. I really do. I don't care if you understand or not. Just tell us where Claus is. The boy headed for the Aurora-Xatu, quite rambunctious, I might add. Rarely seemed concerned about his own short little life. If you go there now, you just might catch him in time. Too bad we won't. Aurora-Xatu, you say? Flint, let's hurry there. Flint, the quickest way to get the Aurora-Xatu is through the cave behind this house. Claus is probably what they're through the cave too. There's nothing to worry about, Flint. You're not going to get very far. As tense as you are, what you need to do is smile. Understand? Fine. Yeah, okay, but you still seem pretty tense if you ask me. Yeah, the whole rest of this chapter is basically just exposition and fighting stuff. Nothing else really happens. I think most of this part is fairly quick though. Chapter 2 is gonna be a lot better. Bring this trouble. Gotta relax, understand? Yeah. Like, there's actually downtime between, like, things you have to do in Chapter 2. So you don't, like... Chapter 2 just in general is a lot better. There's less exposition and most of it's just, like... straightforward stuff that only lasts for a little bit. Like, it's not long, drawn-out paragraphs. And it's also... just... it's just better overall. It's hard to describe. Let me see if I can get around this enemy. Nope. Holy crap. That was too much damage. Alright, Aries. Yeah, but like, the enemies in this area are kind of the reason why you want to get as much healing items as possible. Because by the time you get to the boss in this area, it's like, you're gonna need to use all of the healing items. It really doesn't matter what level you are, the boss is just tough either way. Hold on, let me see. I think I did, I can't remember. Here we go, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it for this part, because this part's basically just a bunch of, like, mazes and stuff. I'm also gonna have to use this fast forward stuff for, the grinding, because grinding is a priority when you get to the area where the boss is at. So, yeah. You don't remember the cave? Yeah, the cave's a really short part. Like, the cave, unlike some of the other areas where you actually get to go back to, this cave is completely, you never go back to this area. Because it's just kind of pointless. But yeah, this cave doesn't spend, like, there isn't a lot of time in this cave, so it doesn't make a very lasting impression. No. Yes. Dang it, moles. Don't want any more nut bread. Find the vine. Bad puns. Yes, I noticed the pun. Nope. Oh crap. More healing items need to be used. Okay. Because they're divine. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Like, Vinesauce videos are my go-to when I'm bored. I know Vinny's currently doing a Subnautica stream. I think it's like his second season, because the first time, I think I told you, like, he wrecked his world because he made connected bases. Yeah. Yeah, if you connect your bases, it's still like, Vinny, on his continued, Subnautica, the most recent Subnautica video he did as the beginning of the series. I think he did another one after that, real recently, but, he said that he talked to the game developers about what happened to his world, and they said the reason why, his world was lagging so bad was, he connected bases, which caused, like, 2 whole areas in the game to load at all times. So he had no other choice but to start over. But, like, as for streaming Subnautica here, I think I might actually be able to do it, because I got the resolution down, and that helped it a lot. Yeah. So... Yeah. I'm probably going to have to, like, break up parts of this, like, play Subnautica during this, but also, like, play this, break up the tone. It's like, It's like, I can't, I have a hard time watching, like, Vinny's Chrono Trigger, I couldn't watch. I've never played Chrono Trigger. I've always been interested in it, because I heard it was, like, one of the best RPG games for the SNES. But I've never... Yeah. And it'll be a blind. Oh wait, I forgot. Can't carry anymore. Yeah. Chrono Trigger is, like, first of all, it's higher resolution because this is a GBA game. Second of all, Chrono Trigger is actually a longer game than this game, but it has a lot more variety because areas are more diverse, I guess you could say, from what I've seen. So that should be interesting. Alright, time for the fast forward feature. It's actually not that long, like, hold on, I'm trying to think. Like, I never played a full, like, sitting. I've always, because I think the first time I did Mother 3 was, still during, like, school, and during school, like, we have a rule at our house that, basically makes it so you can't play video games on weekdays, which is primarily for my brother, who will play games as long as he has access to them, thus not doing his schoolwork and stuff, but, like, so I was playing it on the weekends, so, like, I can't remember how many weekends it took me. I don't think it's that long, though, because there are a few chapters that are literally, like, maybe 15 minutes long. Chapter 3 is, I think, in total, part 1 of Chapter 3 is less, it's probably, like, 5 minutes long, and the other part is 15, so that's 20 minutes worth of Chapter 3. There are some chapters that are super long, though, like the final chapter is just one entire... It could actually be split into maybe, like, 2 chapters, the final one. Yeah. Hold on. 7. 7 chapters. Yeah, like, if you know, like, I know a lot of loopholes in this that make, like, there's a lot of optional content in this that you can just outright skip and not change anything. Like, there's a lot of optional bosses that I'm probably going to skip just because they aren't really worth it, especially not for a stream playthrough. Maybe for your own exploration, but not for stream because it just... Some of them are kind of hard to find, and it's just not worth it. Yeah, right now it's just gonna be a lot of grinding. could check. Okay, I guess it's just lag, Twitch lag. Yeah, okay, it's good. Ugh. It's lagging again. I'm hoping it's just Twitch lag and it's not like whatever's going on here. Oh man. I have full bars. I don't know, maybe it's clouds or something. I hope it's not gonna be... Like, I hope it's not gonna be something that's gonna be a staple of this entire stream. I don't want that. Hopefully it'll cut out soon. I don't know what's wrong with it then. Yeah, but these crag lizards, you could kinda... They're kind of the status quo in this area right now. If you can beat them easily, then you can beat the enemies coming up real easily. They're almost like a measurement. I think I want to get, like... I think the target level... I'm trying to remember what the target level for beating the boss in this area is. I think it's like level 20 or something. I think I'm level 15 right now, so... Getting good at these crag lizards, so... Also, the beef jerky is like the best healing item you can get in this area right now, so... Stocking up on that is really good. It's just gonna be a cycle of beat 2 lizards, heal, and repeat. I guess it's a little bit better than the last emulator I was using for this, which, it's not on my Mac, but it was the original emulator I was using for this. When I first played the game, it didn't have a speed up feature. So I had to do this, without the... yeah. So at least this one has one that's, easily accessible. I'll have to check it out. I know there's, a lot of emulators that currently don't have a Mac version, or if they do, it's, really crappy. I think, No Money GBA, has a Mac version, but it sucks. Because that's when I was first trying to find emulators, and I found, No Money GBA, and that's a decent emulator, but the Mac version sucks really bad. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then like 7 hours the day before.
Yeah, my voice is kind of shot. I mean, it was kind of worth it though. I'll give it that. Like, the beta conversation was great. Like, I don't have anyone to talk to about that. Like, nobody wants to hear about beta stuff, so.
I remember there was something I forgot to say.
Oh yeah, the for Bar's story, I wrote down the like the last ideas that were had, but progress has kind of been slow on it because I'm working on art projects. I'm working on a new bird design right now, and I'm also working on, like, I think 2 or 3 others. One of them might not go up on DeviantArt because it's basically just a shading test for shading on Manga Studio. But yeah, I'm working on a bunch of art stuff right now. I'm still working on the story though. It's just kind of slow right now because I'm busy with other stuff. Called what? Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Like, supposedly that's supposed to be really good. Nice. I guess it's supposed to be like professional grade art, free art program or something like that. Yeah, I've heard about it. I also need to save often because, like, just saving often in general in this kind of RPG is pretty helpful. Yeah. It's just gonna be, like, I think I've got, like, up to the power level though, now I can try, because there's a ton, like, and I mean a freaking ton of really powerful enemies up ahead, and, like, grinding on the crag lizards helps with dealing, because the fact that there's so many enemies up there, like, they'll actually gang up on you. Pig masks. Oh yeah, there's the link, okay. Well, let me just save the link real quick. Okay. These things right up here, or, But these enemies right here are a throwback to, like, scorpion enemy things from, Mother 1. Also, these... Oh, frick. The balding eagles are one of the more annoying enemies in these areas because they gang up. And they aren't even really powerful, they just come in groups. Yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and heal up. Because I made the mistake my first playthrough wasting healing items getting through this area. Because the later part of this area actually has, enemies that can explode and kill you in one hit. So, yeah. Healing items are necessary to get past those things. Because, there's a little bit of a foreboding thing to the, exploding enemies. See these trees right here? These trees are actually, like, when you get up to where the boss is, these trees actually start walking and become enemies. And they suck. Yeah. There's like the, I think it's like Elder Oak enemy. And that also, like, explodes. And it's only at the end of the battle it explodes into flames and it does critical damage to everyone. And even in, like, this game actually has more, like, Mother 1 references than Earthbound had. Because the tree enemies, their sprite is almost identical to the tree enemies in Mother 1, which appear in the Magicant area. Can't remember which way was best. Almost 20. If I can get to like 20 or 21, then... Also, these running bombs, just like throwing them at, the Mecha Drago, which is the boss for this area. They're actually really useful. I used all of them my first playthrough just because they do so much damage. And they're also kind of necessary because the Mecha Drago has a lot of health. But yeah, this whole area is just like a bunch of enemies. That's what I don't like about this first chapter, is that it's got a lot of this. Like, this whole situation, it's got a lot of. And also all the enemy fights here, like, in later chapters, you don't even have to fight this many enemies. But in this chapter, it's, like, required because the boss is so hard. Because I think Mecha Drago is actually one of the harder bosses in the game. Like, especially at this point in the game where it's at the very freaking beginning. You what?
I had to ban someone in my chat the other day.
Why?
I just get spammed.
Fresh lumber. Do I have 6? Dang, all this beef jerky. Wait, it's 60. I'll drop a piece. I think the fresh lumber is better than the weapon I have right now. Let me check. Yeah.
Wait, so I am posting you.
Yeah. It says it in the chat.
I didn't know that it actually worked. Like, I use the IRC for chat.
Oh.
In order to use commands on it, you have to like have a double slash before the command.
Oh.
Which is just a single one. I also think that if you're trying to do an IRC command.
Well, at least we know it works.
Yeah.
Crap. Also, there's nothing you can do about this status ailment in the game yet because you have... Okay, thank God I didn't hit again. But, like, the status ailments right now in the game, you can't cure because Flint doesn't use any healing powers. I mean, it wears off, like, I got hit by hypnosis by, the Titani, or whatever it's called. But, like, you just have to wait for it to last out. Or if it's poison, you either have antidote, or you just live with the poison. If you don't have a healing place. So it's actually kind of sucky. But I think it's only poison and hypnosis that are status effects at this point in the game, so I guess that's something. I think I'm about good enough to start taking on the explosive trees. Mm-hmm. It was, like, beta stuff. Yeah. Oh wait, I already checked that item and that's nothing.
Wait, I think what I wanted to know about the Mara story was just
Yeah, I'm still in the beginning of it. I got the stuff written down, I just haven't gotten it situated. Oh, hey, the kid next door. Welcome back to the stream. Still on the first chapter because it's going painfully slow. But yeah, we're almost finished with it, so you haven't missed Mecha Drago. But yeah, anyways, about the murder story, I've got all the ideas written down, but they aren't, like, they're in order, but I haven't fleshed them out yet. But I've got pretty much the entirety of, the beginning part. I've got that all laid out. All I gotta do is write the stuff for it. Baby Draco. Hmm? This belongs to Claus. And that was a baby Draco right now. Claus must be around here somewhere. Get a child shoe. These stupid trees. Oh, this one's a moving one. Yeah, this sprite is literally just a, like an update of the original sprite from the first Mother game. It's like, it's almost entirely the same when you lay them on top of each other. There it goes! Come on. How far am I from the... I don't want to trigger that tree, but in order to get around... Like, the trees are definitely the worst enemy in this whole area. And they also do the vacuum, which causes your defense to decrease severely, which means when it explodes, it does a ton more damage. Like, look, if I didn't, like, if that was an insta-kill like most RPGs, I would have died. Right there. No.
I still feel bad about taking
No, it's alright. Like, it's not like I had anything else left to do. And it was interesting. Like, I had a ton of fun. Like, beta stuff, I could talk about hours. Like, it's not even just Zelda beta stuff. I could talk about hours of, like, heck, Mother 3 beta stuff. There is so much Mother 3 beta stuff. And I think it's just in part due to the fact that Mother 3 used to be an entirely different game.
wasn't it supposed to be on the N64 or something?
Yeah, it was for the disk drive, the failed beta thing. And then they moved it to the regular N64 because disk drive failed miserably. But then that didn't work either because N64 wasn't, like, they were running it on the biggest cartridge that they had and they still couldn't put everything they wanted to in. And also the people making the game weren't good at 3D, so it sucked. So, like, this was, I think, Space World 1999, was when they canceled it, or was it 1998? Like, is when they announced it canceled.
The N64 DVD with the disc drive was one of the biggest failures.
And it had potential, too. Like, that's the worst part, is that it had potential, but it was just too expensive. It was before its time, but at the same time, also for some reason after its time. It was the weirdest, like, failure Nintendo's ever had.
And it almost feel like all this got started because they messed up with the Sony thing.
Yeah.
Not only did that end up screwing the Nintendo 64, it also created the PlayStation.
Yeah. Which is, like, in a league of its own. Like, it's not even about Nintendo anymore. Like, articles don't even talk about Nintendo anymore. They talk about PlayStation and Xbox. And it's all because Nintendo ended up, like, getting the idea to Sony giving them the idea that disc consoles were the future, and what do you know, it turns out disc consoles were the future.
Right. Since like they made the Super Nintendo, and they're like, oh, everyone was getting on like CD drives and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So then you had like the Nintendo PlayStation, and then they were like, we don't like the politics of these, so they let Sony in. Sony was really bad, so they made the Nintendo 64 without a disc drive. But they're like, oh, we still need a disc drive, so they started wasting their time with the N64 DD, which made the N64 worse overall.
Yeah. Oh, the kid next
So
door.
it's like, not only did they create a PlayStation and make the N64 worse, they wasted their time afterward with the N64 DD.
They
There
were
were
like,
so many games that were going to come out for the 64 DD that were basically packed in that.
yeah, like Zelda, which became Majora's Mask.
Yeah, and like even Ocarina of Time was going to be like the 64 DD.
Yeah.
The original N64, like I don't know what they were thinking of. What about the like the regular N64 console, which is what it ended up working out in the end. Like originally, it would have almost been like the actual console had no games, and you had to get the 64 DD to get most of the games.
Yeah. It was just a massive mess.
Yeah, like think of say like this, like think like say what if there were no Genesis games and you had to get the Sega CD to play most of the games.
Which would suck because the Sega CD was also a failed attempt at CD hype. Getting aboard the CD hype train without knowing exactly what you're doing.
There were so many like tests where they like failed CD consoles and things.
Yeah, Philips CDI.
Yeah, and like the PlayStation was like the first one to actually get it right.
And then it became it's currently a leading member in the market for video games. While Nintendo's basically in the baby league now because of that. Because of the failure of the CD era, it became the all-time straggler in game development, despite the fact it had good series. It just wasn't. It still isn't as popular as it was in the 90s. Let me.
Like I'm thinking like, well, so with the GameCube, they finally like did a CD version. They put like a DVD drive in it, but it wasn't like a real DVD. It was like a mini disc drive, I guess.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I guess like those don't hold as much data, so I don't really know. But it's like people always like to give games, but people always like to give the GameCube a lot of crap because, and I don't even know why, because it was just as capable as the other consoles.
Yeah.
Things that they messed up with that mini disc drive. And I don't really know what they were thinking with that.
Mm.
They should have just copied what was on the PlayStation 2 and had a regular DVD drive.
Yeah, it's.
Just regular DVD drive.
Yeah, Nintendo's always been really weird though. Like, they've always been one step behind despite the fact they could literally topple the market at any time. They've always kept theirself back, and I don't know why.
Yeah, like they've always been one step behind and yet one step forward at the same time.
Because Nintendo, in my opinion, Nintendo's never going to die because it has the most memorable IPs. Like, I don't think, like, in the next maybe 100 years, I don't think anyone's gonna forget about Zelda.
Yeah, I think like Nintendo was originally like Nintendo was always about games, whereas
PlayStation and Xbox are about, hey look, we got Netflix on a console, isn't that great? Sony's always been about the, like, performance of the console rather than the games on the console. And the Xbox has always been about how much stuff can we cram on a console that doesn't usually go on a console. Yeah, and then most of them failed. Like, Ratchet and Clank are the only ones that actually survived out of that. And even then, like, Ratchet and Clank, there's still kids who have grown up in this day and age who don't know who they are.
And Xbox is even worse than that. I mean, I guess you have, like, Halo, but it's more, like, they didn't really try to conserve it. It's just an FPS thing.
Yeah. Kept it Mario. Yeah. They kept it Mario, but they kept it fresh. Well, I haven't checked the chat in a while, so let me... Oh, the 16-hit always cheat. I might not do that just because, like, I don't know, cheating. Maybe for, like, a fun thing. I know at some point I want to stream, Earthbound, but not stream Earthbound, because screwing around with Earthbound is one of the most fun things you could ever do. Yeah, Earthbound is so much fun to screw with. This game is actually a little bit harder to screw with. Like, you can do fun things like always 16 hit cheat, but for the most part, like, a lot of it's not really... Without a developer copy, which is what you want to get in order to screw around with more of the debug features, you can't really do that in this version of the game. Yeah, they have a debug version. I haven't been able, like, I swear I've looked for hours for the ROM and I haven't found it. Yeah, and hold on. When you go idle safe, then reload the ROM and choose a song from the sound player. Yeah, another feature, speaking of what the kid next door said, another feature for this game, because it was like a mobile, like, you know, this isn't a mobile game, but it's on a Game Boy Advanced, like a handheld console. This game is basically its own soundtrack, too. Like, it's got a sound player accessible on the menu, and if you completed the game, you have all the music. Yeah. You know, figure out the freaking Konami code to access the sound player or whatever. Mm-hmm. Earthbound had a sound test menu just like that. It's actually, I'll show you, like, I really want to do it sometime. Like, I definitely want to do it this summer sometime. Screw around with Earthbound, because getting to the sound test is so easy. Heck, getting to everything is so easy.
Like, isn't it like there's a tent read that you go into a farm and you're like a tent or something. I don't remember that.
But like, alright, so what you want to do, in Earthbound, in order to get to the debug stuff, you need 2 cheats. These 2 cheats are the key to chaos in Earthbound. You need multitasking, and you need walk through walls. Basically, while in Want, you can do this at the very beginning of the game. You can use walk through walls to, like, walk all the way to, frick, what is it called?
Isn't like the entire game
Yeah, it's just an entire map. The whole map is the map. And then you just load different parts of it. But like you want to go to the desert? I haven't played it in so long I forgot its name. Oh no. But it's the desert area, like um the I can't think of the name. I think you know what I'm talking about though. It's like the desert area in the game. No, not that desert area. It's like the whole desert region, like based off of Arabia. Yeah. It's got the pyramids. You want to go there, and you go to the town. And there's a sign in front of a shop area, and if you use multitasking while reading the sign, it will cycle through like a few dialogues, like pieces of dialogue, and then it accesses the debug. So then you turn off the multitasking and just explore the debug. You can summon all the party members at once if you want. You can change like the music through sound test. You can just do whatever the heck you want. You can warp. You can activate certain cheats and whatever. I didn't mean to walk into this enemy. It's just, you can do whatever. Just whatever. And then with multitasking is basically the key to the whole game. Like with multitasking, anything is possible. Including mass chaos that causes the game to lock up and makes you restart. So it's kind of dangerous, but as long as you're not planning, like if you put on multitasking while planning to complete the whole game, you're probably gonna screw it. But if you're doing it for fun, then multitasking is possibly the most fun out of all the, like, cheats. What is that? It's not a Drago anymore. I have a bad feeling about this. This boss. I died like 3 times first time I fought it. I'm probably gonna end up, like, dying on this too. This boss is severely hard for, like, the beginning. Yeah, just because, like, the way it works. Oh wait, I guess the running bombs don't work. I could have sworn they did though. Whatever, just... Oh wait, I remember what I have to do. This has been too long. I started it without attacking with the Drago Fang. I'm probably gonna die just because of that. Yeah, this character becomes unused for the rest of the game. It's honestly kind of sucky. Okay, yeah, I already did. I forgot that you have to use that first thing or you can't attack it. Now we can use the running bombs. Also, like, using, tactics like Flint's ability to raise his defense is also really useful in this fight, because defense is something you really, really need. Last running bomb. Thankfully, that's the most powerful attack it has, which is the fire breath attack it just used. Because right now, like, just with that single defense up, like, it went from you doing like 20 damage per hit to like 12. I'm gonna try toughen up again. Oh wait, it's not gonna work. Okay. Oh, it actually makes. And there's not really much to talk about during this fight. It's the critical attack again. I might actually win this fight. Okay. Because the first time, I think what caused me to die so many times the first time I tried this was the fact that I didn't use toughen up, this defense raise technique the first time. I'm trying, but for some reason I've never been good at getting combos on this game in general. Oh no. Come on. Okay. 19. And now, unfortunately, the poor creature that never meant to hurt anyone, but ended up being turned into a monster, ends up dying. Yeah, the kid next door. Definitely the wall staples, Duster's wall staple technique is really useful. Flint, don't do it. That won't solve anything. You only make this child go through what Lucas and Claus had to. Oh, the poor baby dragon. And then it sheds one final tear and dies. Feels. And then on that ledge behind rests the lifeless body of Lucas. It's possible that until now the people of Tezmeli had never known sadness. On sunny days and on cloudy days, they always greeted each other with smiles. They lived in harmony with the creatures of the forest. Strong would help the weak, and those who had would share with those who had not. However, it appears villagers have learned all too much about sadness. Suddenly everything is changing for the worse. When did this change begin? Where did it begin? What set it in motion and why? Almost as if toys, the peaceful animals are being transformed into strange, ferocious creatures that attack people. Some people, like Flint, have even had their families torn apart. Just what is this? object. Mysteries continue to pile up. So the first tale begins as a tragedy. Oh, the bottom row of pixels doesn't have text. I think that's part of the game. Either that or it's just the ROM being sucky. Yeah. Like the flickering shadows part with moving objects. Woo! That's over now for the good part. Honestly, this RPG is like ridiculously heavy for the first chapter. I mean, you have like 2 people technically die, as well as a creature that never meant to hurt anyone turned into a monster. Yeah. So technically 3 people died. Even though Claus, like, spoilers, might not be dead. Hint, 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 hint. But, you know, to the player right now, it looks like 3 people ended up dying in the first chapter. Even though if one of the people was just a Drago. It's Claus's lifeless body, not Lucas's. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and Claus does turn into a robot guy. And he's like becomes a slave of someone from the second game. Hint, hint. It's a terrible tragedy. I can't say I know how you're feeling. Yeah, it's the same. Duster. This is like the first time Flint speaks. I think this also... No. This is the first time Flint speaks, and then the last time he speaks is at the very end of the game.
Right. Yeah. I've not played the game, and I've barely seen playthroughs, but
Yeah. It's basically Porky gets power from Gygus, and then Gygus ends up being destroyed, but Porky's still corrupted. And he still has all that power, and then he just goes crazy in an alternate world of Earth. Yeah, and then the time machine causes him to age rapidly, and so he becomes like an old guy, but he still has the stupid mind of a child. So he's like still a massive jerk and everything. Porky's kind of like this game's Flowey, because in all honesty, like Porky's not. He could have been a good guy, but he didn't get the help he needed in the first game that he was in. Yeah, and then it's like he's the neighbor, but he's like kind of a jerky neighbor, and then later on you realize that he's actually someone who's working for the final boss. Duster. Wait, no, it's not Porky. Wink, says the kid next door, yeah. I speak to you not as my son, but as my pupil. Listen, time has come. No, this is not something we've been looking forward to. I'm hoping the time wouldn't come, if at all possible. But you and I have been constantly prepared for this day. The event that did come. Yeah, but the kid next door said, but Flowey was nice once, and Porky was total jackass. Yeah. Like, the thing about why I say Perky's kind of like the Flowey is that Perky, the reason why he's a massive jerk is because, like, his parents were abusive and he didn't get the right attention. And so he didn't get help. And because of that, he was more susceptible to Gygas's evil influence. Where Flowey was like... Yeah. Flowey, just because Flowey, basically, I guess you could quote-unquote say is like a quote-unquote reincarnation of Azrael. Because Flowey didn't have a soul, when he, like, came back to life due to determination, like, he was basically empty, and that emptiness caused him to have an inability to care for people, thus he became malicious and was like, you know, why care about anyone? Because it only made him hurt and confused when he tried to care, because he physically could not care for people. Like, it was impossible because he didn't have a soul. While Porky had a chance to become good, but he just didn't take that chance. Like, he could have gotten the help he needed from Ness or something, but he didn't. Thus becoming the massive jerk. Yeah. Like, a lot of people don't realize what happened to, both Porky and Flowey. When both of their stories are kinda, like, sucky. Like, Flowey didn't ask for that. Porky didn't ask for that. It was just the way it happened. Gotta sneak into Osho Castle. There you'll find a certain important item and bring it back here. As for what this certain important item is, no, there's no need for me to tell you. If a thief can't determine the value of what he steals, it's a disgrace to the profession. Still, would you like to know a little bit about it? Yeah. It's very important looking item. It's like all shiny. Yeah. Which is kind of unspecific. I will say no more than that. In the basement, you will find items I've prepared for you. 7 mystical thief tools. No, wait, were there 7? Well, whatever. Take them with you. They'll prove useful during your battles with the enemy. Being ghosts. But this part, I think chapter 2 may be one of my most favorite chapters, just because it's a lot different than the rest of the game, and it's almost like sort of a... It's like an... What's the word for it? Kind of like, I mean, I guess you could say a break. Because, I mean, there's exposition that happens here, but it's, like, really later on into the chapter. But this whole first part of the chapter is just basically Spooky Castle, you have a goal, go find goal, and it's not even related to most of the rest of the game. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also... Wait, is the secret still there? Let me see. Okay. The Thunder Bomb? Okay, so a Thunder Bomb, like, is hidden behind this house. At all times. That means even at the, like, end of the game, if you go back to this house, you can still find a Thunder Bomb there. So I thought that was pretty good. It's basically like a free item spot that never changes.
Right. So does it come back?
Yeah, it comes back every single time you're in the village. That means when you play Lucas's part, later on when the town is like totally changed, you can still find the Thunder Bomb. So, I don't know, I kind of like the fact that there's still, like, a reference to the stuff. Like, it's one of the only things in the game that doesn't completely change. It's kind of like a remnant of the old, like, the first part of the game. Don't even really need a map, because I know where I'm going, but... Also the, like, just in general, this whole chapter feels totally different compared to the rest of the game. Because of the fact, I mean, it's like ghosts and stuff. It's a lot different. Because ghosts are like, this is the only chapter where ghosts really appear unless you go back to the castle later. And then most of the ghosts have left the castle by then. It's just, it's like a whole different part of the game. Oh, pardon me, I wasn't paying attention. And this is, basically, a hint to what the next chapter will be about, which will be about the monkey Salsa. Oh, come on, little monkey. Like, the first chapters are a little bit interesting because you actually see that cutscene in the third chapter with, Salsa, but you're seeing the cutscene as, like, in the place of Salsa. Like, you see, alright, so this cutscene takes place during, part of the third chapter, even though, this is currently the second chapter. So that scene where, he bumped into, Facade, which is the name of that, like, turban-wearing guy with the monkey, that scene is actually the same scene that appears in, I think, the later half of chapter number 3, which is coming up next, and you basically see that cutscene 2 times, only this time you're playing as Duster, whereas the next time you'll be playing as Salsa. It's kind of like that, like, it's weird because the first chapters take place, like, in and out of the other first parts of the chapters. I think it's chapter 4 when it changes to modern, like, the modern world of Mother 3 years later, or whatever, and then it stops doing that. And this is where you start seeing the first effects of, like, the kind of changes that Porky and his goons brought upon, because, like, they don't have money in Tazmily, but, Blitch, this kid right here, he got money from Facade, who told him that it was, like, the era of money. So basically they're introducing a currency in a place that doesn't have any currency because it's just trading and stuff. So yeah, it's weird how you can see the progression of this primitive society into a modern society. And also how these people became, like, just, like, really simplistic and joyous, and then they turned into, like, you'll see this more. I'll go more in depth in chapter number 3, because that's where it starts getting into, like, greed and stuff. The aspect of greed. Which is actually an aspect that the people in, the town of Tazmily don't have. Like, they didn't have greed, quote-unquote, before the events of Mother 3 took place. Cutscene. sludge. Which is actually, like that cutscene is actually it was kind of meant for, an earlier build of this game, which had a different design for the, like, pig mask mothership, I guess you could say. But they ended up changing it, so they changed part of the story so that sludge doesn't actually have a purpose in this version of the game. And now we have zombies. Didn't I die? Nope, apparently not. Zombies. Like, I think the only reason, the zombies exist is just to, like, reference Earthbound and the fact it had zombies in the game. Crawling out of unmarked graves. Yep. Yeah. And also you still have most of the free healing areas, like the hot springs, are still open in this. So I'm just gonna go and use that since, like, I think I have one healing item right now, and I don't want to use it. Please turn the sound up. Okay. Like, I think it's a little bit low on my side, too, so... Wait. Hold on. Okay, here's the problem. I swear, the freaking multi-output device keeps on, like, switching what it's recording. I don't know what's wrong with it. Alright, is that better? The kid next door? Or, hold on, me. Okay. Is it better? Like, I know there's a lag, because, like... Okay, alright. Yeah, the multi-output device, I don't know what's freaking wrong with it, because it keeps on, like, switching what it's recording, or what it's supposed to be, like... you know... I guess, rooting or whatever. yeah, these gravestones, these ones that kind of look like faces, actually are enemies.
Right.
Sure do love to walk around at night, do you?
Yeah, I can actually hear the game. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, it wasn't really my choice to get a Mac. It was because my grandma, like, got this Mac, and it turns out that it's actually too advanced for her, and that she'd rather use an old Windows computer. So I got this Mac for free, basically. Linux doesn't suck as long as you know how to use it. It's just a little bit more labor intensive. My dad uses a Linux computer. And speaking of Windows, like, I do have a Windows computer, but it's the family computer, and I don't even know how old it is. So, yeah. It's just kinda... It's... Fights are all about rhythm. Oh, it's just talking about combos. Yeah, I know about combos already. Here we go. This is actually, like, even though this sounds weird, but this song, the song that plays for the gravestone enemy, is actually one of the easier to get, like, a few combo hits on, because the entire song is the rhythm. Because it's basically just, I mean, it's slightly harder because the rhythm constantly ascends and descends. It's kind of like an introduction to that kind of rhythm, which you see more in the later game. But it's one of the easier to get combos on because the whole song is the rhythm itself. I think this song is in the, or not in this game, but in the area. Turkey and peculiar cheese. Like, there's actually a lot of times in the game because, like, there is kind of a... It's a little bit like a Pokemon aspect to it because, when you get the enemy decks, which I think is in this chapter, you actually get rewarded for, like, finding all the enemies in the game. And I think it's like a gold star and some kind of special feature. I can't remember because I've never actually done it myself. But, like, there's actually, like, these enemies I'm fighting right now, this, like, leech enemy, well, the stream's lag, but, I'm fighting a leech enemy right now, But this is the only time you find this enemy in the whole game, and then you can't access this area afterwards. So if I wanted to be a completionist, I'd have to fight this enemy.
Right. So, is there anything special with that enemy besides that, or is it just...
It's because this area, two enemies in this area, which are just these, like, lobsters, and, the leeches. What makes these guys special is that this is the only time you encounter them in the entire game. And then this area gets closed next time you visit it. Like, you can't get into the area. So, technically, if you were, like, planning on being a completionist, like, halfway through the game, and you missed, like, fighting one of these fighting one of these enemies, you'd actually permanently miss them. So that means your chance of becoming a enemy dex completionist would be over.
Right.
Healing items. Let's see. Hold on a second. I need to go get a drink of water. Okay, back.
Okay.
Alright.
What is this? Oh, Vinesoft started streaming.
Is it Joel or Vinny?
Vinny.
Okay. He's probably streaming Chrono Cross or Subnautica.
I just closed it.
Oh.
Yeah, I would usually watch it, but
Yeah.
not when we're doing this. Like if this is like a Minecraft stream or something, I'd probably keep it open in the background, but
Just for some noise.
yeah. Although, I mean, to be honest, Minecraft is not like I'm at a laughing noise.
Yeah.
I can't believe, like, it's like we did not want to stop playing Minecraft.
Frick. Oh no! How did I get dead? Guess I wasn't paying attention. I've never died on those stupid enemies. Oh man. I think it saves my level progress though. Yeah, I did indeed get dead.
Oh boy.
But like, I think it saves the Lego. I keep saying Lego. Oh crap. Level progress. Oh my gosh, I guess I can't speak today. I think the only thing you lose for dying, is depending on whether or not you picked up an item, or if you, like, had money on you. And right now, you don't have any money in the game, so dying isn't too bad. Because if you die in, like, pretty much any mother game, the cash in your pocket gives half.
Right?
Die to permanently missable enemies. Yeah. Like the only enemies that actually pose a threat are the stupid leeches in this area.
Right.
Because these lobsters, literally, you just get close to them and they do this. They just stand there and then they run away. And then you can get a behind attack on them.
Right.
Woo, 11. Yeah, it keeps the level. Stupid dumb leeches. Oh, are you kidding me? I'm just gonna run. No, I'm gonna run. Like, this is the worst combo. Oh my freaking god, just run! I'm not dealing with these jerks. Yes. Okay. Make it through the underground passage without being done in by all those monsters. It's really something. Not inside the castle, do you? Afraid that's not gonna happen. The gate's locked. Won't budge at all. Only way inside is to climb up the walls. Which is absolutely no problem. Potato. And my humble little omelets patch. The funny thing though is because this patch of like vegetables here, like out in front of the courtyard of the castle, the name of the patch changes on like what favorite food you chose. And even though omelets is the like canological food, it still doesn't make sense to call it a patch of omelets, because I don't know about you, but I've never seen omelets grow in the ground. I'm pretty sure there's something you have to make on a stove. So, no matter what, it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, like isn't omelets like made with eggs?
Yeah.
And they're like something that you grow out of the ground. But yeah, this sledge up here on the top of the castle that was dropped by the Pigmaster ship, this has absolutely no purpose in the final game. When the original it was gonna have like a foreboding plot point, but it didn't happen. Just, yeah, I know about the rhythm technique and going. And now you have the spoopy castle. And this is one of the best areas in the game, in my opinion. Just because it actually has mystery to it, and it actually has suspense, and it just has a lot of what the rest of the game, due to it being incredibly story-centric, like, doesn't have the time for. Right.
You have an odd feeling that the woman in the painting is staring at you. Because she is. Also, in this area, you can actually kill yourself. Like, actually just kill yourself in the overworld. Alright, so due to stream lag, I'm currently inside the building, and you have a statue right, this thing right here. It's like, it's a statue holding a giant weighted ball. You need to knock that ball over in order to get to the rest of the area, because the door in this area doesn't lead to anywhere, it's just a dead end. But if you stand on the side where the ball is, like, obviously going to fall down and go through the floor, and run into it, you can actually insta-kill yourself. Like, and I tried it just for fun to see what would happen, and it actually... Like, I was surprised that it actually happened.
Like, what just, like, I don't even know how that happens, because... I don't even know.
It's like, because the ball's tilted, the way the figure's holding the statue, no matter what, is probably going to fall that way.
Right.
And running into the statue causes it to, like, vibrate, which causes the ball to fall that way. And if you're standing where the ball falls through the floor, you can insta-kill yourself, because the ball crushes Duster.
Yeah. Like, what, does it just skip to the game over screen?
Yeah, it literally just does that. It does, like... It makes, like, I think it's, like, the attack where you get the sound where you get, like, mortal damage, like a smash attack, and then it skips straight to the game over.
Right.
And I think that's one of the only places in the game, if not the only place in the game, where you can actually, like, end up dying in the overworld if you're really that stupid and attack
As opposed to a battle, I guess?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that could I thought you could only ever die in a battle.
Yeah,
and
but...
I guess a lot of games actually, like, in the code, it's actually impossible to die when not in a battle.
Yeah, but this is the only time, if I recall, in the entire game where you can die outside of the battle. Oh, wait, no, actually, no, now that I'm thinking of it, there's a part really later on that I forgot where you could also die. I just never really died, except for once, but it was, like, really freaking stupid, because I was toying around with the enemy. But there's an overworld enemy in a later part in the game, like, I think it's, like, chapter 5 or 6 or something. So, really later, but you go to the Chimera laboratory where you find where they're making all these abomination animals.
Right.
Whoops, got the freaking nauseated effect. Crap.
Yeah, I remember, like, that was, like, yeah, I remember that now. You just,
And you find, anyways, but in the
you find, like, some enemy or something in there.
It's like, what's his name? Ultimate Chimera? It's like a reddish, pinkish monster with really big teeth.
Right.
And, that can insta-kill you in Overworld if it catches you.
Right.
Like, it'll just make, like, a chomping sound effect, and then the screen goes red, and then you skip to the game over.
Right. You know, I kind of suspected that that's what would happen. I wonder if that happened in the marathon I watched.
I wouldn't doubt it, because, like, a lot of people end up getting curious. Like, that's what caused me to die the only time on that, is that I got curious as to what actually happened. And I wasn't really expecting it to, like, just insta-kill you, but it does. And that's what makes it a lot scarier. It's probably one of the more scarier enemies in the game, because it's the only time you actually have something real-time pursuing you. Because it actually goes from room to room trying to find it, homes in on your character.
Right.
And so you're actually having to actively hide and avoid from it.
Right, I think that's interesting.
I just wish it wasn't so late in the game. But, you know, the Chimera Laboratory chapter of the game is another really good chapter, just because it's got a bunch of theories to be talked about, and a lot of... It's got mysteries and stuff.
Right.
Now for fighting the ghosty goose. Which I'm actually gonna have to grind on for, like...
I don't think it's gonna be. I'm not even gonna fast forward for the grinding here because it's not even that long.
Right. Probably should. Like, I probably would've, but...
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking, like, do you think that this game takes its story a bit more seriously than the other games?
Yeah. It does like to throw things like this, like, it takes its story a ton more seriously than the other games, but it also does things like Chapter 2, where you start off with, like, a very unrelated plot point that ends up becoming, like, exposition later on.
Right.
Because the pig masks get involved later on in this chapter. But, it does a lot of, like, break time. Because it knows that it's a bit more heavier than the previous games on the story. So it likes to give you little, like, intervals where you can just kind of have fun playing an RPG.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that they did, because... Yeah, I think you pretty much said it, how I was thinking.
And also, note this abstract painting here. This thing threw me for a loop when I first got this game and played it for the first time. Like, the entire time of, like, having this, like, painting on the wall in several rooms.
Right.
It's like, I knew that it was gonna, like, attack at some point. Like, it would be technically wrong if it didn't attack, because it's there, and in Earthbound, in, like, the Moonshine, or Moonside, that's it, Moonside area, you have abstract paintings that attack you.
Right.
So, I knew that this thing was going to come to life at some point. And, yeah, that thing was, like, the best, one of the, like, the thing that sealed the deal for making this probably one of my favorite chapters in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the thing with the abstract painting. And how well they did the whole forebode thing, because the entire time it's hanging there and looking interesting, and, like, it could easily attack you like some kind of enemy. Like, you knew that it's going to happen, but you don't know when, and then when it actually does, it's perfect. It's like the perfect way to present the situation.
Right.
It just does it so well. Reminds me of Gaster, yeah.
I don't know, I was just... That's like Gaster, but yellow.
Mm-hmm. Like, isn't there supposed to be some kind of sequel to, Undertale that Toby Fox is planning?
I don't know.
Because, like, people kept talking about sequels and stuff, and how Gaster was supposed to be, like, a character that appears in the sequel or something. Like, I know he has, like, a really short secret appearance in the caves, I think.
Right.
But I totally missed it, because, like, it's super hidden.
Yeah, it's, like, I think it's, like, random as well.
Yeah. It's like, there's a random chance that when you enter, like, I think there was a certain segment in the game.
I think it's, like, where the bird is that carries you over the gap.
Yeah.
And, like, when you're going, like, towards the, like, when you're in Waterfall and you're kind of going...
I know what you're talking about.
But, you know, like, it's not, like, I think what happens is, like, when you're going right, like, instead of going into the place with the bird, it goes you into that hallway with the door.
And then that's where you find Gaster in, like, a really rare occurrence.
Right, and I think like that hallway only appears like, and I think it's like 1 in 100 planes or something.
Yeah. Oh crap, it's going for background. But like, yeah,
There's
Gaster.
probably, like,
Gaster's like a really interesting character. He's kind of like the like Missing No's a glitch and he's not, but he's kind of like the Missing No of Undertale. He's like the character that no
Right.
one really knows about, and it's like some people think he's like a creepypasta kind of character. They're like, oh, he must be the true mastermind, or he must be the like
right,
the spooky glitch thing, whatever.
yeah.
It's like
and I
Slender
don't
Man
think-
for Undertale or something like that.
Yeah, and considering how Undertale is, I don't think it's like that.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's
not like
just
that.
Yeah, it's just like a regular character that ended up
Yeah, that ends up being really
released, I guess.
secretive. Like, isn't he like? There were people saying that he was the previous royal scientist, right?
Yeah, I think that's like in the game.
Yeah, and like, there's a bunch of hints about, like, because he speaks in wingdings,
Yeah,
and then there's like the text for, like, I know a few times during the like Undertale playthrough, you know how
Right.
wingdings have like hand signatures in it.
right?
There was a thing that I didn't understand until I looked in more to Gaster.
Mhm.
One of the like boat people was
Yeah,
like,
the,
beware of the man who speaks in hands. And I was
Right.
like, wait a minute, wingdings. I know who speaks in wingdings. So I think that might be like an immediate reference to
Yeah. I've
Gaster.
also heard like a thing about that quote like, from the raft man or whatever, the river person, like that he is referring to the player
Yeah.
because like you control the game with your own hands.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense. I don't know, I guess it's kinda interchangeable.
Right.
Or like it's really up to debate, I guess.
Right. And I mean, like you have the genocide one. You have the genocide one where that kind of would make sense. Do you have the stream open on your computer?
I have the stream up.
Yeah, but like, I know you're streaming, but like the actual stream, like, are you like watching it on your?
It's off to the side. Currently, like, it's like,
Right.
I don't even know how far behind it is.
Like-
It's definitely about 2 minutes delay, I think.
Right. It's a big delay, but and I'm not saying anything. I'm just like I keep hearing like an echo, I guess.
Yeah, it's because, the fact that, like, the audio ends up picking up from the, like, the, speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So you had I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Gaster and, like, spooky Undertale theories or whatever.
Right.
Like, a lot of people, another, theory that people are always on about Gaster is how he's, like, the secret brother of Sans and Papyrus.
Right.
And it's kind of, I don't really get where they're coming from. I understand where they draw the connection, because I guess he kind of looks like a skeleton. But at the same time,
like, I don't think that if he does have something with, like, to deal with Sands of Papyrus, it's yet to be really discovered.
Right. I think that there was like a like you go and I don't think like I don't know if you did like you know like Sans basement, which I don't know if you know about.
No, that's another secret that I kind of missed.
Yeah, you know, like I think it's like if like on Pacifist, if you like when you first like when you meet Sans in the corridor at the end, I think it's like you have to like keep closing the game or something, and then like Sans starts talking about like time travel and whatnot, and then he gives you a key to his room in his house.
Ah, yeah, that's something I totally missed. It's kind of well hidden.
Yeah. It's funny because he gives you like a password that is like, only time travelers would know this password. And so anyway, I think like you go into his room and then there's another key in his room that you can use to get into
The basement.
like the hidden door. Yeah, like the door hidden behind his house, which is where the basement is. And that's where you have that like machine that Sandy is working on. Like I think it was I don't even know what it, like no one really knows what it was, but like I think there's also like a lunchbox or something in that room that was like time proof or something.
That's interesting.
And like in it there's like a photo of Sans next to someone that he didn't recognize or something.
Yeah, okay, then I see where they're coming from, because then it's like, oh, clearly the person you don't recognize is Gaster because he's a secret character or something like that. But, like, I still think it's up for debate. Like, I'm sure Toby Fox will reveal the whereabouts of Gaster at some point. And confirm, like, confirm or deny all the theories.
Right.
Or he'll just remain one of those mysteries for, like, years and years until someday Toby Fox gets bored of people, like, sending him emails asking what the secret character's all about.
You know, I've heard that, like, in the very first version of like, not like the demo, but like the actual, like the first release in last year, like version 1.0, Gaster was basically nowhere to be found. Like, and even that secret hallway,
it didn't work.
Like, yeah.
Like, I could believe that. Like, I mean, I know there was a few changes after the, like, update, after the initial release. So clearly, I feel like Gaster might have been, even if he was a plan from the beginning, I guess he might have forgotten to add him in, or he intentionally added him in, or maybe he thought of him during that time and was like, oh, let me add him in real quick. Like, it's really, like, I mean, now that Gaster's in the game, it just opens a bunch of theories and stuff as to what the character is. Like, we know he's the former royal scientist, but we don't know what he's doing there and why he's so mysterious, nor why he speaks in wingdings and stuff.
Right. Like, apparently, like, what we know is that, like, he felt like he was... I think he was, like, working on, like, a way to break the barrier or something. And he made the core. And I think what happened was, like, he fell into one of his machines or whatnot. And got erased from the game, basically.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, because then it would make it kind of intentional, really, to have him, like, end up coming back. Like, he was erased from the game and then came back after the update due to, like, I don't know, paradox or whatever.
Yeah. And I think, like, a lot of people, I think that, I don't want to say, like, definitively, but I think it's some, like he'll just keep acting more, like, as the game gets patched. So, like, he'll basically insert, like basically Gaster will get added to the game, basically, in a patch.
Yeah. And kind of, I guess it just kind of extends Undertale's influence, makes it still be relevant, because even though there hasn't been, like, a major update in a while,
right.
like, I guess it's something I'm more than certain that Toby Fox is gonna keep, like, adding new things to the game to make it, you know, feel like it's still living. Because
right,
that's a big part of Undertale, is that the fact that it feels like it's a living game, like the people in the world actually matters for once.
Right.
Especially due to the fact that the whole game is all about, like, alternate realities, and the fact, and, like, the question of whether or not the game continues after you finish it, or if it just resets and everything is wiped, like a clean slate after you finish it.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, Undertale is, it knows what it is, and it does everything it possibly can to make it a game that you could talk about for days. Like, about what it actually means, and what the things in it do. It's just got a lot of, I guess you could say, vapor content, because the content doesn't necessarily exist, but through the stuff presented in the game, it can be inferred.
Right. And I've heard that, like, even, like digging through, like, unused content and whatnot, like that, like, even, like, doing that is, like, that's a part of the game, pretty much.
Yeah, like, I know Toby Fox, he originally had a bunch of, like, don't rip these sprites yet until the game's been out for a year messages, and then he ended up changing them in the update after the year was up, and changing them to just, like, jokey Easter eggs.
Right.
And I know there's, like, a part in the code referring to, the thing with Metaton, like, the questionnaire thing when you first meet Metaton, like, as a secret message for people digging through the code, talking about, like, oh, you won't be able to find the answer to who Alphys' crush is in this code, or something like that.
So I think, I think he was, like, what I think happened is, like, originally he was just gonna do that, but he realized people are gonna do it anyway. So let's mess around with it. Like, let's actually make that a part of the game.
Yeah. Because I know Gaster even had an unused theme that went unused until he made the, like, hyper special appearance in the game.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, at least Toby Fox, like, you don't have a lot of indie developers that really revel in beta content and really, like, keep their games alive, despite the fact that their games have been out for a year or something. It's like a game comes and a game goes. Like, remember the other Earthbound S? That's what I call games like Undertale and stuff that were inspired by Earthbound. But
Right.
the other Earthbound-esque from, like, last year, 2 years ago, Off. Remember
I
that?
think
It was
one-
like, I think Markiplier and a few other YouTubers played it.
Right.
It was a game about, like, you play the role of this, like, baseball player guy named the Batter, and you're in this weird reality, and it's just, it's really weird. But it was an Earthbound-esque, and it had a lot of, like, really meta and deeper meanings, but it didn't do anything with it after the game was over. Like, it was just like, the game's over, the end, the experience is over. But with Undertale, like, the experience is still going on, even in the, like, game's files. Like, technically Off was like the Undertale of yesteryear, because it was an Earthbound-esque and it gained a cult following, but it didn't do what... Crap, these stupid ghosts, I swear. But it didn't do everything that Undertale did to make it, like, a game that became... Like, some people even say Undertale is better than the game that inspired it, Earthbound. So,
I think
yeah.
I think I can see that because, like, with that you have hindsight, like you can figure out what are the flaws and improve upon it.
Like, I don't know, talking about Earthbound-esques is just in general, because Earthbound-esques are a lot different from other RPG games.
Right.
Because the RPG game that they were inspired by was an inherently different RPG game compared to all the others.
Right.
And so, like, Earthbound, it has a lot of, like, meta jokes and, like, silly Easter eggs related to things that are kind of fourth wall breaking.
Right.
And even at the very end of the, like, game, Earthbound, you, the player, are referred to and are called to help the characters in the game defeat the final boss. And so then you have a flood of Earthbound-esques, which end up doing that, but taking it to a whole, like, other level.
Right.
Like, it's almost like an evolution. If you look at the Earthbound-esques, and there's a lot that people don't even know about, like, I don't even know about all the Earthbound-esques, but I think the first time, or the first Earthbound-esque that, like, in a sense wasn't really, like, it was Earthbound inspired, but it didn't get popular until, like, something years afterwards. I think it took 2 years to get noticed. But it was a RPG Maker game called
Right.
Space Funeral.
Right.
And it was kind of just like, just a one-off short little RPG game.
Right.
But it had a bunch of in-jokes, and it didn't take itself real seriously. And it wasn't very serious, but it still had that kind of weird Earthbound tone, but with a bunch of, like, macabre stuff tacked onto it. And then after that, you get things like Lisa. And Lisa is a game that, like, I never looked into Lisa. I don't even know what it's about, but supposedly it's like Earthbound, only grittier. And it also has a similar battle system to the original Earthbound, only the battles are like Dark Souls level hard, where you have to grind for hours and days to get to the point. And then after that you have like what's it called? Off again. You have Off, which was the Earthbound-esque that got the most attention last year.
Right.
Even if it wasn't a whole bunch, and... Oh snap, here's an Easter egg right now. This old guy in the spring, he occasionally appears but then disappears mysteriously. But anyways, that's unrelated. But Undertale was the first Earthbound-esque that, like, reached people who may not have ever played video games before.
Right.
It's, like, Undertale is literally the modern age Earthbound. Because Earthbound has inspired people who never played RPGs to play RPGs.
Right.
So yeah. It's just a really interesting evolution of, like, games inspired by another game. Stupid ghosts. In this shop, basically, the shop doesn't take proper currency. So basically, the drops you get from the ghosts, the rotten eclairs, you can use that to buy healing items and like status restorative items.
Right.
Which are kind of useful for this area because Duster isn't like, he doesn't have a lot of HP. And he has, like, really bad defense, so it really helps in the earlier parts of the game here. Alright, this hallway is when it starts getting hard. This is kind of the... Oh, actually no. Wait, is this the room that has the painting? I think it is. Yeah, it is! Oh my gosh. This is the thing that threw me for the loop the first time around. This stupid, the artsy ghost as it's called, this abstract painting, like, really surprised me and, like, solidified this as one of my more favorite plays in this game. It's basically like a micro-boss. It's the micro-boss in this area.
Right.
Because it's not a mini-boss, but it doesn't appear, like, at all after this. But yeah, that's...
Yeah,
it was just really good.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where this feels like Earthbound.
Yeah, it's just basically you're in an area. It's not really plot related, but it's interesting, and you could just talk about, you know, things that it reminds you of, things that, you know, it's definitely a good example of a break in this game.
Yeah. Like, Earthbound is more like, yeah, like, there's story, but it's more like, there's more areas that don't really have
too much plot,
like, plot,
I mean,
I guess, plot significance, but...
I guess so. I'm thinking, like, you go into an area and most of the things in the area aren't really related to the plot. But the area itself has significance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like this chapter a whole bunch. Like, it actually starts getting into the plot later on, but right now it's just, you know, exactly what it looks like now. It's a spooky mansion. There you go.
I can see what
Have fun.
I can see what you're talking about there.
And also the atmosphere in this place is just that cheesy sort of... It's not like Resident Evil mansion. It's just like a cheesy... You have ghosts that are like sheets with red eyes. It's just that kind of... It's that kind of lighthearted vibe that you get from like a lot of areas and enemies in Earthbound.
Yeah, and that tends to not happen as much in this.
Yeah, and then the thing coming up next, that hallway kind of sucks. The hallway with, like, I fought the artsy ghost in. That hallway kind of sucks because, the enemies in the other part of that hallway, these armor suits actually come to life, and they have a lot of defense for enemies this early in the game. Or this early in Duster's part of the game, I should say.
Right.
Like, here they are. Ghost armor.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters you play as in this.
There's a lot of enemies that really test the player to check whether or not, are you really, like, grinding? Are you really sure that you're going to be able to beat the boss in this? Because if you can't beat this enemy, you can't beat the boss. There's a lot of enemies like that.
Yeah. And that also makes it so that, like, if you can beat that enemy, then you shouldn't... Like, if you can beat that enemy, then you should be able to beat the boss.
Yeah.
And because of that, they don't have to worry about, like, say... They don't really have to work... And this is just something I thought about, but, like, if you can do it that way, then that means they can lock you up. They can basically lock you in with the boss because they know that you can beat it.
Yeah. And also with these ghost armor enemies, they actually kind of teach you to start getting used to the way Duster works, because he uses a lot of, like, items that lower stats, or, like, preoccupy the enemy, like the Siren Beetle. I caused the ghost armor to turn around, which gave me some time to, like, lower its defense, because it has higher defense, which then gave me the ability to defeat it without too much problems.
Right.
Because each character works a little bit differently, they just kind of get muddled later on in the game, because then you have to use all of them at once. Or, like, 2 of them at once, or 3 of them at once. Like, I think, like, when I'm thinking of I think the only character, or the only 2 characters that you don't actually get, like, one-on-one time playing, to figure out how they work, because they are pretty simplistic, are Boney, which is the dog, who works like Duster in the fact that Boney,
doesn't have any PSI attacks. He's just a physical attacker.
Right.
Only even more simple than Duster because he doesn't really distract the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Kumatora, who is like the Pala in this game. And she has physical attacks as well as PSI attacks. And by then you already know how PSI works with Lucas.
Right.
Get rid of these spores. And also in this area, a lot of the enemies in this area just kind of feel like they were thrown in for fun. Like, as in the people, like, I guess the designers kind of made some of these enemies just for the fun of it.
Right.
Because most of these enemies are not used in the entirety of throughout the game. Like, they're in this one location and that's it.
I can see that.
Mm.
It's interesting.
I'm just trying to get to a point where I can... Because at some point during that hall, where the armor ghosts are at, you're going to have to fight two at once. And right now, like, I don't really have that ability. Because, like, when you have to fight two at once, that means you can only preoccupy one at once. Which means the other one can attack, and some of the attacks that the armor ghosts do are actually really strong.
Right.
So it's basically, like, it also teaches you, like, I guess, tough enemy horde management. Because they aren't in hordes and they can't, like, call more like the ghosts can. But the armor ghosts, they're, like, two tough enemies. And if one of them's, like, preoccupied, then the other one will still be able to attack at full force. But it teaches you how to manage to make sure, like, at least one of them's preoccupied, so it saves you some extra HP, I guess.
Right.
So this is not only kind of a fun level, but also kind of a learning level.
Right. Yeah, I can...
Sting spiders, I swear. Smash. There we go. Okay. Another safe room.
Right.
some reason, only the keyboard of this grand piano is bright and shiny. For some reason, it's just stand out. Even if you forget the small moles on my back and inner thigh, I'll never forget you. I'm in my lonely room, your wig weeps. Believe me when I say I don't attach anything to the walls of this room. This whole song's basically a hint to what you have to do, because you can't actually get out of this room without using wall staples. Because the two doorways are actually just like dead ends. Hey Deku dude, welcome to the stream. This is chapter 2 of Mother 3. Violent Roach, another Earthbound reference. I know there's like, I think 2 enemies, or maybe it's just 1 enemy in this game that is literally just straight from Earthbound, only they like color the sprite slightly differently for the Game Boy.
Right.
I think it's like the trash can mold guy from like 3 Town in Earthbound, the zombie place.
Yeah.
Also, this place is also another. This is a hiding spot for a secret enemy in the game, which is not actually really. It's one of the easier secret enemies to find because it's just sitting there on the table in the kitchen. So I'll go ahead and fight it. Can't remember if it's like super strong or not. So. The strawberry slime. Crap.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this enemy actually does a lot of damage. Jeez.
Right.
Frick. Oh crap! Dead. Stupid freaking sleeping status ailment. Ugh. Still doesn't like change the levels though, so like it doesn't. It's not. You're not gonna lose XP from dying. Well, I'm tough enough to beat the spiders and whatnot, so I guess that's something. I'm gonna make another attempt to beat the strawberry slime. Because I know it gives out a lot of XP if I beat it. Just have to deal with the dumb armors.
just gonna have to turn around when HP's too low. I think I'm dead again. Just run, run, run. No, I didn't want to attack, but a smash attack's always nice. Yeah, I'm dead. No, 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 I'm not. Oh, sweet, yes. Okay.
Sorry if I'm not.
Alright, now I'm dead. I cannot believe that
Actually,
I got killed by a spider. It bit me and I died.
oh, boy.
Are you freaking kidding me? What is with this terrible freaking luck? Like, the spiders are the least dangerous enemies in this entire area. Like, oh my gosh. This is not going well.
I'm sorry if I'm not talking much right now. Can you
No,
hear
it's
me?
alright.
Okay, good. I'm actually eating dinner right now. So,
But yeah, it's fine. Like, nothing's happening right now.
yeah. It's like,
Except for, like, battles. Because I cannot seem to freaking get through the hallway again to battle the dumb strawberry slime. Yes. Okay. No, 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 yes. Are you? Nah! Alright, maybe I can beat this stupid armor ghost. Siren Needle. Oh, it didn't work one time. That's great. No, that's perfectly fine. I'm not angry about that at all. Just nah. Not annoying. Alright, let's try the dumb strawberry jam. Strawberry slime, I should say. How many healing items do I have? Okay. Alright, let's try this again.
alright.
I wonder if anything actually works on this. Try smoke bomb. Ha! Okay. Now it's gonna miss a lot. The thing that makes the strawberry slime kind of, like, dangerous is the fact that it can actually, like, put you asleep. Which means it can get more hits in. Come on, die already. Just want your XP, jeez. Okay, there we go. Yep, that totally bumped me up by a level. Ooh, and it dropped a sprinting bomb. That's gonna be pretty useful. I can't even remember if there's another healing station near here. But whatever. Might as well try going upstairs now. In which you get the first use out of the rope snake.
I remember that.
Looks like this is a job for me. Hook me right onto that candlestick. Go ahead, don't worry about me. The subplot about the rope snake betraying everyone. Oh man, I actually might as well just like run this. Oh, here's Kumatora.
Oh boy.
Drops are pendant. Equip that. Or can I equip that? I guess not. Yeah, because that's a key item. Never mind. Like the carpet monster here? This
Okay.
carpet enemy is actually really useful for grinding because you can do a method where, like, basically you fight the monster until you end up dying. So then you go back to that to the save frog. You need to remember to save at the save frog over here.
Right.
But you can actually just continue to challenge that over and over and over again, and it, like, since it gives you a decent amount of XP, it's actually really useful for, like, defeating the mini-boss in this area, which is the suit of armor that this friendly ghost is talking about.
Right.
Because this mini-boss is not an easy mini-boss. But I've beaten it, like, every playthrough. Like, even the playthrough I didn't finish, I beat it. Because if you can beat the mini-boss in this area, then you should be able to beat the boss in this area.
Right, that's... I think that's interesting.
I just like how it kind of, like, gives you an idea of what kind of power level you want to be at.
Right.
I don't know, just like a lot of RPs or RPGs don't really give you that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereby
like most
if you
RPGs,
where if you have the ability to beat a certain enemy, a certain tough enemy in the area, then you have the ability or are close to having the ability to beating the boss or whatever.
yeah, most of them don't really have that kind of connection, I guess. Like I mean, and sometimes, like, the boss is, like, not really, like the regular enemies. And I guess that's the case in a lot of games, but...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because the bosses vary a lot in the Earthbound series. Just, like, between the methods for beating them, or the, like,
Right.
areas you fight them, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because, like, the boss in this isn't even related to the story. Like, he's just a ghost in the castle.
I'm actually probably just gonna continue to, like, stream until, like, 12:30. Since I do have to get up tomorrow. So I'll go, like... I think that's, like, the... That's where I reached last night. I think it was, like, 12:30 when I stopped streaming. So I guess I'm not really stopping the stream early. And also another reason why the, like, fighting the monsters, or the carpet monsters, until you run out of HP is a better method, because the healing station is all the way downstairs, and that's, like, the only healing station you can really get to easily.
Right.
So basically, you have to go all the way downstairs, past the armored ghosts, just all the way back downstairs in order to heal, without using your healing items, which you'll need for the boss.
So is this like just grinding?
Yeah, this is just the method of grinding, is just grinding until your character drops is actually better than trying to, like, go downstairs and heal every single time. Because if you do that, there could be a chance where you got caught by an enemy in the hallway coming back. And so, like, since you healed in that location, instead of appearing at the save frog that you last saved to, you'll end up appearing at the healing station you last appeared to. So that means you have to walk all the way back to the area you were, like, trying to go to.
So it's just faster, basically?
Yeah. And also, you don't really have anything to lose by dying right now, because, like, as I said, usually if you have money on you in a motor game, it'll halve it if you end up dying. But since there's no currency in the game currently, you don't have to worry about that. So the only thing you're losing is time, really. And also, another thing I should say is, oh no, Duster fell over and can't get up. Like, another thing that also you lose when you, I guess, like, end up dying is that if you used, an item in battle, that item's now permanently gone, even if you saved your game. Yeah, so don't... Try not to use items if you know you're not going to win at a certain battle, because it'll be really wasteful.
What happens if you reset the actual game? Like, what happens if you turn the game off and back on? Would you get the item back?
Yeah, probably, if you, like, saved... I think I did that once, actually. When I fought some kind of boss, and then I used a bunch of healing items, but didn't want to use the money that I barely had left to buy a bunch more. I think that actually worked. But it's been a while, so maybe I'm just misremembering stuff. Stupid Kargaroc. I can't believe this guy hasn't killed me yet. Now he did. Try again? Yes. Yeah, here we go. So he just starts over right at the point, so just go back out and grind. Also because, like, yeah, I totally got my head handed to me, but then again I had it coming, like, it wasn't like a stupid armor ghost, because the carpet monster is not a very powerful enemy, and also it's like, it's not very powerful, and it's an isolated enemy, meaning you don't have to, like, trek through a bunch of other enemies to get to a quote-unquote optimal enemy for grinding.
Yeah.
And it still gives out, like, a decent amount of XP every time you fight it. So it's just, like, it's a good enemy to grind on. So I guess, like, you know, this stream's kind of educational if anyone wanted to do, like, a playthrough of Mother 3 and needed advice on what grinding they have to do.
How far do you think you are, like,
In the game, I'm on chapter 2.
Yeah.
Currently,
Like,
I'm not that far in the game. I'm still in the beginning.
yeah.
But the chapters speed up, because I know there's a few chapters that are incredibly short. Like, as I said,
Yeah.
chapter 3 goes by in a flash. Like, I sometimes forget that there's a chapter 3 in this game.
Yeah. That pretty much goes from chapter 2 to chapter 4, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then again, how long is chapter 4?
I can't even remember what chapter 4 is. So, I don't know, I'll have to...
Faster.
I think chapter 4 is when you get a control of Lucas at last, the actual quote-unquote main character, the Ness of the game. That's when you get control of him. And if I recall... Hold on, I'm trying to remember what happens. I think the entirety of chapter 4 is trying to find Duster after what happens in chapter 2. I think. Because chapter 3 is all about Salsa, which is the monkey. So, and chapter 4, since chapter 4's goal is really straightforward, it doesn't take that long. It's still longer than chapter 3, but it's not by much. It's only longer because there's more grinding.
Yeah. So I guess, like, the later... the first chapter is really long, but I like, it almost makes me wonder, like, how much of the game is used by the early chapters.
Yeah, like, there's 7 chapters in the game. Chapter 4 is, like, you have Lucas and you go to find Duster.
Chapter 1's really long, chapter 2 is, you know, I guess, like, short to medium, I guess.
Yeah.
Chapter 3 is really short, chapter 4 is really short. And then I don't know what's after that.
I can't even remember what chapter 5 is. I know there's one chapter that's literally just, like, if I recall, or maybe it's part of a chapter, but it's like one chapter where it's literally just an entire, like, piece of story that goes on for maybe 5 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just like a whole chapter that's just like a cutscene.
Yeah.
Like,
Just a cutscene where you move your character forward.
Yeah, there's pretty much no gameplay.
But yeah, I do like how the game speeds up a lot. Like, even now, this chapter is still faster and it's still more interesting than the last one, even though I'm having to grind.
Yeah.
I guess I'll try and attack this now. The quote-unquote, like, mini-boss, I guess you could say.
You know, I'm just thinking, like, have you ever played Secret of Mana?
No. I've heard a lot of good things about Secret of Mana. Like, I know on Vinny's streams, he, like, talks non-stop about Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that reminds me of Secret of Mana, or like, you know, you guys should really play that. And so I'm like, is it really good?
Yeah, it's pretty much on the same level as Chrono Trigger.
It's got that kind of, like, fantasy, but with a twist of sci-fi.
Yeah, actually, yeah. In fact, a lot of like early, like a lot of Squaresoft games had that. Like you think it's fantasy at first, but then they throw in like, you know, technology and whatnot.
Yeah, like for example, Final Fantasy, like 7 is a big one.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is pretty much all like technology.
Yeah, it's like it's like
there's
instead of being fantasy with some sci-fi elements, or elements, I said elephants, oh my gosh. It's like, it's techno fantasy, is basically what it's like. I mean, you still got magic, but you also got this, like, techno-punk world, this early techno-punk world with, like, the pipes and stuff, and it looks industrialized.
I think I was I know there's like an area that it's like in some forest or something.
Yeah.
And it's really memorable. At least I thought it was.
I think the tactic to like getting the enemy deck stuff or whatever in this area is to fight both the sword and the shield, and then you get, because if you go straight for the armor in the center, the armor grabs both the sword and shield and it becomes like a super armored ghost.
Right.
So it has high defense and high attack, making it a really tough mini-boss actually. But by splitting up the parts, you can grind on the individual haunted weapons, and then when you're strong enough, you can take the thing head on and get rid of it. Like, it's just interesting tactics like that the game shows you how to do early on. And not even really intentionally. Let me make sure that the XP I got from those weapons stays. I need to remember the XP number. 3213. Because when I challenge this guy, it's definitely going to kill me. Or maybe not, because it apparently cannot hit me. Or apparently not, because, yeah, I guess I did it. Yeah. Alright then, well, apparently I'm not going to be fighting it with all of its, like, extra stats. Dang, I was expecting to die, but the thing wouldn't hit me and kept stalling. I guess that's kind of lucky.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh no, I'm definitely right. Or maybe not. Yep, dead. Alright, let me check my stats. the XP is still raised. Does this mean Armor Knight is back? Okay, Armor Knight I still can't talk. Armor Knight respawned. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Ghost Knight suddenly attacked. Woo, yes. Yes. That was unexpected. I did not expect to beat that thing that easy. Well, I guess that says something about my current power level. Can't even remember how. I think I'm close to the boss. No, wait, no, I'm not, because I still like this to do Yes. Okay. These two doors are fake.
Okay, I'm back. Can you still hear me?
You didn't miss anything. Except for the fact that, like, the Armor Knight did respawn, so I fought him in his fully assembled form, and I beat him with, like, no trouble, so I guess that says something about whether or not I'll be able to, beat the boss in this place. Like, it's 12:30 now, but I think I'm, like, close enough to the, boss. I think it's, like, Mr. Passion, like a haunted conductor guy.
Yeah.
I think I'm close enough to him that I'll just beat him and be done for the night. Dead. Yeah, because I think the room right up here, like the room with the fake doors and stuff, leads straight to the... Yeah, so this should be no problem. Still gonna battle one of the fake doors first, though. Got your Sudor. Yeah. Barrel guys. These are like one of the... I think these are the second weakest enemies in this area. Yeah, I think this is... Yeah, this is the boss. I am Mr. Passion. The music I am playing is Family Matters, second movement. Listen thoroughly. Yeah. Listen and marvel to your heart's content. Even though the thing about this guy is that he never, like, the quote-unquote lore behind the reason this guy's a ghost is that he never finished his his piece. He only got the beginning done, which is just this, like, orchestral sound that you have looping. So that's why he's a ghost, because he got bent over not being able to finish it, or whatever. So I can't get through this area because he's, like, floating a bunch of candlesticks and a mouse around, so I have to fight him. No.
Yeah, that sounds like a good game.
This is what artistic know-nothings like you get. Mr. Passion suddenly attacked. Try a smoke bomb. Like, Mr. Passion's not a terribly hard boss. He just, like, does a lot of attack. And then he does things to increase his offense, like he just did right there.
Yeah.
And then he ends up stalling sometimes. Crap. Jesus. That was close. Woo! Yes! That's nice. I actually had more trouble on that guy the first time I played than I did now. But I guess it makes sense because it was the first time.
Yeah.
Spike, you're a lifesaver. Thank you. By the way, you could rest out that stuff if you want. You felt something warm inside your heart. You felt determination. No. What
Let's pass. Oh yeah, this is the special shiny item. Clearly, this is exactly what Alec or not? Yeah, Alec said. No, wait, was it? No, it's what's his name? Wes. It's exactly what Wes said. It's a shiny object that clearly looks important because it's in a big room like this. So this is certainly the item we need. Noble spittoon. So now we just get out of here. But considering since after we get out of here, basically it goes on to like part number 2, I guess you could say, of this chapter, and part number 2 is kind of long because it deals with the pig masks coming in and ruining everything like normal. So I'm probably gonna stop after this and just save the end of this chapter for tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, because I have stuff to do. But like next week. If not earlier, because I still need to check to see. It's basically just making a chart of days that I consistently don't do stuff on. Because I'd like to stream more, it's just like there's too many stupid, like, unexpected events that end up like just ruining schedules. And just the weekends are the most consistently free days.
Yeah, that's just... I just don't even...
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here.
Yeah.
So... Oh wait, hold on! Before I start there, reminds me... Currently we have the, battle memory, so let's take a look at that real quick.
Right, I think that'd be interesting.
Basically, the battle memory is just like as I said, like an enemy dex. And so you could just like look at the previous enemies you battled. Like, I don't know, it's just interesting, but I mean, might as well before I forget, and then have to go through the whole thing when I remember again halfway through the game. Alright, so we got the Mole Cricket, Mr. Batty, Yeah Monster. You also have the back sprites. If the back sprites are shaded out, that means you didn't encounter the back sprite of that enemy. Yeah Monster, Firefly, Flying Mouse, Mighty Bitey Snake, Baked Yeah Monster, Chibi Small, a reconstructed Caribou, Praying Mantis, Soot Dumpling, which is actually one of the secret enemies. It's just like really tough to beat, even though it gives you a lot of XP when it does.
Yeah.
Walking Bushy, Spudbug, Agitated Boar, Crag Lizard, Titani, or Titany, or whatever you want to call it, Balding Eagle, Tree, Mecha Drago, Zombie Man and Zombie Lady, Zombie Dog, Mobile Grave, Attached Leech, Spineless Lobster, Stinky Ghost, Arachnid, which is another callback to Earthbound, because, like, Earthbound, its spider enemies were always called Arachnid with, like, an exclamation point.
Yeah.
And then the stronger ones were, like, Arachnid with 3 exclamation points. Just to reinforce how serious this was. But, yeah, just little touches like that. Barrel Man, Ghost Armor, Earthsea Ghost, Violent Roach,
another secret enemy, technically like micro boss, strawberry slime, carpet monster, ghost sword, ghost shield, ghost knight, Sudor, Mr. Passion, and that's as far as the enemy dex goes. Alright, now we can end the stream.
Yeah.
So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I hope you come back next weekend if you want to see more of this, because next weekend, Friday and Saturday at around 9 o'clock, I'll be streaming some more of this again. So yeah, and also sometime during this week, Kargaroc, known as like Peacock 486 in the chat room, if you go to his channel sometime this week, I'll be hosting him and we'll be playing Minecraft. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching the stream. See ya!